らしく食って、母に苦労かけて死なせ、最低の父親だったぜ。一番の金持ちになれだと。ああ、なってやるとも。利用できるものは何でも利用してやる。クズめ。
In order for Araki to create a compelling character and setting, he decided to put together a story that combines popular features from the past for his first part of JoJo's bizarre adventure. The interplay between England during the Industrial Revolution, a character that is morally wicked but outwardly charming, a battle between good and evil, and horror elements which include the dark nature of vampires, lets the manga unfold in so many different and riveting ways that Araki could virtually do no wrong with the script. And we haven't even went into the stands, probably the most essential part of the series. Dio Brando is a typical Byronic hero. Lord Byron, or George Gordon Byron, was a romantic poet of the 19th century England. He enjoyed his noble descendants and often wrote in a cocky way in response to critics. His poems were one of the most influential at the time, and his characters, as we see even today, are remembered throughout literature. Byronic characters have the traits of having a dark and troubled past, being alienated from others, being charming and smart, and having emotional turmoil with brewing and intense feelings. The main character in one of his works, which the poem is named after, Manfred, is a tormented individual because of the death of a lover and a mysterious guilt connected to it. It is the hidden sin that stands out. Dio Brando exhibits the Byronic hero's characteristics, and most of all was born with the birthmark of 3 dots on his ear, which is said to be a sign of devilish luck. We see Dio secretly commit the sin of poisoning his own father, and later his adoptive father. Sin is a defining trait of such characters. Their troubled past pushes them to use their charisma and intelligence to their advantage. Manfred conjures spirits to ask for forgiveness and maybe even the resurrection of his lover, and he is successful because of his excellence in language and spellcasting. Dio utilizes charm, charisma and intelligence to get to what he wants. They both exploit their powerful qualities. However, Byronic characters have moral ambiguity. Byron's Manfred is guilt-ridden and doesn't quite accept the magic of the spirits. Dio, on the other hand, is not guilt-ridden. He later comes in the possession of a special and supernatural power, becoming a vampire, though he never states that he regrets any decision. Dio is in that sense a Faustian figure. Faust, who summoned the devil and demanded his help. More knowledge and power. That's what it came down to in the end. Dio Brando is born in a poor family, which is not rare in 19th century England at all. He has to learn how to earn money at any cost and be able to hold his own on the streets full with criminals. England being the first industrialized country, circumstances were tough for the population that became a working force, to which even children counted. Having developed misophobia, a fear of germs, and an extreme hatred for his circumstances, Dio wants to get away from this life, more importantly, away from his father, who embodies the past. That's why Dio poisons him gradually. Araki uses an excellent springboard for the story, as the setting is compelling, with England's social class clashes, Jack the Ripper, and a feel for old-fashioned, and Dio Brando has a truly understandable desire for something more as a result of his upbringing. Thomas Carlyle, a British essayist and a historian, wrote, 1,200,000 workers in England alone, their right hands lamed, lying idle in their sorrowful bosom, their hopes, outlooks, share of this fair world, shut in by narrow walls. Dio develops the need to dominate, and later a god complex. It is in his name, as Dio means God in Italian. True that the character was meant from the jump to be the villain of the story, and a powerful one at that. But it also points to the need, no, necessity, to turn yourself into the ruler of such an unpredictable, detestable, and miserable world. When seen through a Jungian psychological perspective, Dio Brando exhibits traits of the so-called shadow, all that has been repressed underneath the surface, and that which must never be revealed to the world. Carl Jung advocated for a controlled release of the shadow. While most people suppress it for the illusion of appearing good and virtuous, Dio lets most of it out. Malevolence, ruthlessness, and manipulation come to the foreground. An insatiable want for power and disregard for the well-being of others, and the willingness to exploit others for personal gain. By him becoming a vampire, it accentuates the idea of the shadow in him further. The dark notion and the traits of the unspeakable and gruesome become thus even more prominent and clear. Jonathan Joestar is placed as a strong contrast to that. He is the noble hero archetype. JoJo displays courage, chivalry, righteousness, dignity, and respect for others. From a psychological and a narrative viewpoint, it is a conflict as old as history. The fallen angel, Lucifer, who challenges the divine authority of God in the Bible. The battle between the human protectors such as Odin and Freya, who fought against the giants that liked to cause chaos, like Loki and Jormungandr. Even J.R.R. Tolkien's heroes who venture forth in order to destroy the evil ring of Sauron. Dio Brando is a child of his time, where the poor were struggling with living conditions, filthiness, and money. He strives to be the god of a new world, a world different than that from his childhood. For that purpose, Dio has developed intelligence, cunning, charisma, and strength. His ambitions are high. That's why his morality is neither good nor clear. A poor child with the luck of the devil and the ambition of gods, Dio Brando becomes the villain of the story and goes ever beyond his human limitations in order to reach one goal: power.